If we go back to the situation where we're awarding all 4 trophies, then N would be 4 people, and you're awarding trophies to all 4 of them. So that's like 4p4. And if you substitute that into the formula, you get 0 factorial in the denominator, which is worrisome because we know we can't divide by 0. But 0 factorial is not 0. If you remember that from our tree diagram, we got the answer was 24. If this equals 24, if 24 over 0 factorial equals 24, what must 0 factorial equal? It must equal 1, and it does equal 1. I had to pause briefly to remind myself the reason for that, because it's very, very difficult to think of 0 anything equaling 1. But here's my brief explanation. If you have, let's just take Annette, Bill, and Craig. If we have a set, if we use set notation to think about all the different ways we can arrange Annette, Bill, and Craig, first, second, and third. There's Annette, Bill, Craig. There's Annette, Craig, Bill. There's Bill, Annette, Craig. There's Bill, Craig, Annette. There's Craig, Annette, Bill. And there's Craig, Bill, Annette. That's it. There's 6 ways because there's 3 times 2 times 1, or 3 factorial ways to arrange those elements in a set if the order matters. If, however, I have a set of 2 things, if I just have Annette and Bill in a set, then there's 2 ways to arrange that set, because 2 times 1, 2 factorial is 2. If I have 1 thing in a set, and I have a first place trophy, if I have 1 person singing in a 1-person contest and I'm awarding the first place trophy, there's only 1 way to award that trophy. 1 factorial is just 1. But there is something called a null set. If I have a null set, an empty set, there's still only 1 way to show that set. So 0 factorial is 1. That's my best explanation of that. If you get curious and find a better explanation, let me know, but I've dug into this before and that's the best way I can find to explain that. If we don't usually use the formula, the permutation formula, though. If we've got 4 things and we're trying to find the permutations of 4 things, we just do 4 factorial. We don't usually bother with it, but if we did plug it in, we'd be fine as long as we knew that 0 factorial was 1. Bad planning on my part there. Okay, so let's just do some number crunching and try to see how this formula works. If you're doing 80p4, well, I don't have my permutation formula, so let me write it here. Permutation of n items taken r at a time equals n factorial over n minus r factorial. So the permutation of 80 things taken 4 at a time would be, n would be 80, so 80 factorial over 80 minus 4 factorial. And this may look alarming because not only do you not want to write out 80 factorial, although I'll begin to illustrate something. Don't try to write out the whole thing. We don't have that kind of time. I'll just do ... here. But 80 minus 4 is 76. So the denominator is 76 factorial, which is 76 times 75 times 74 ... Do you see that this is the same as this? In other words, this product will cancel with that product, which is great because without that we'd be in trouble. You can't even do 80 factorial on a calculator. Even with scientific notation, it's too large a number. But all you have to do on your calculator is 80 times 79 times 78 times 77. And if you think about it, that makes sense. That would be kind of like the same situation where we've got 4 trophies, but now we've got 80 contestants. There's 80 ways to award first place, and then once it's been awarded, there's 79 ways to award second. So this is just like our singing competition, but just with a lot more contestants. The 76 factorial cancels out. In fact, in the next examples, I'm going to write 80 times 79 times 78 times 77 times 76 factorial, and just leave the denominator as 76 factorial, because I know those will cancel. And so all I have to do on my calculator is 80 times 79 times 78 times 77. Still a huge number. There's 37,957,920. So if we use the karaoke example, if you have 80 contestants and 4 trophies, there's lots of different ways that competition could end as far as awarding first, second, third, and fourth place.